Welcome to Sips and Stories with Anjali, where every story is different. We all have applied for jobs, haven't we? And there have been times where we haven't heard any calls, any email, and there have been silence. And in those pauses of silence, what we've noticed is, that thought going on in our mind, am I not good enough, right? But what's actually going on here? Most of the times, our applications are screened by AI tools. And not even a human being looks at it, because most of the systems are built in a way where the criteria is probably to let the people out rather than getting the people in. So our guest today thought there's a lot that can be fixed in this space. I'm so delighted to welcome Kush Bhatia to Sips and Stories with Anjali. Welcome, Kush, to Sips and Stories. Kush has been leading digital transformation across healthcare, banking, and government for more than 15 years. And he has seen technology being deployed for some large-scale programs and bigger organization as well. When he turned his lens onto hiring, he realized that there's so much that can be fixed. So over to you, Kush, to talk about your experience and what made you really create this amazing platform, an AI platform called JobGen.AI.
Thank you, Anjali, for having me on your beautiful show. So you're very right. In hiring, there's always two sides of the equation, right? One is the candidate who is spending days putting an application. Right. Once he puts an application, there's a big silence. Think about that application he's thinking that once I get the job, I will probably pay the rent. I will have a dream to build my career, or I will go for a holiday. So all that goes on a pause.
Yeah.
They don't hear. It's a complete silence. On the other side of the equation, we have recruiters. Those recruiters, they are focusing on that they will be going through 500 CVs to find the right candidates. They don't have that much time.
Absolutely.
Especially given the AI, now the volumes have gone up. So what we're trying to do is, what we find that both sides of the equation is somehow not working very effectively. Both sides are very exhausted and overwhelmed. So that's where JobGen.AI came in. I have a master's in robotics and AI from UNSW, as well as I have done my MBA from London Business School and AGSM. And I've been working as a program director in my past role, managing hundreds of people.
Yep.
And I thought this is the problem that is worth solving, because definitely there's both sides of the equation.
That's right.
We need to look into it. So first we started looking into the candidate side, and we say how we can make sure that the candidates only apply to the job. We can easily analyze for them where they're really fit rather than just anyway applying. How we can cut down their time, how we can make them prepare for interviews. On the recruiter side, we thought how we can screen. These days, every CV looks very similar.
Absolutely.
Given AI.
Yeah.
So how we can reduce the noise for them, how we can get them to focus the right candidate, so that the whole idea is, it's not about just going with the speed, but more about how we can find a better candidate for those particular roles.
That's right. And what do you think, Kush, is the belief and the, sort of purpose behind this tool? Because given AI, there's also a lot of anxiousness. Would it replace the recruiter, or would it replace would it be lessening down the team? Or what do you think is the belief behind that?
I think very good question. So I think our belief is that AI should never replace humans. It should empower them.
Yeah.
So what we're building is we're building an AI engine which basically work or assist humans. Is not there to replace them.
Absolutely. So look at them more as an extended team doing work for you rather than, being replaced by AI, and equip your skills further into that space.
Absolutely. 100%. I think that's the whole belief, because that's the whole ethos that we're working with.
That's right.
Because JobGen is there to help the candidate. It's all about the people. How we can assist with the help of AI to reach to the jobs more faster, more effectively, as well as for the recruiters, how to reach to the candidates more faster, more effectively using AI as a tool.
Yeah. Sounds very, very exciting. And in this episode, we'll also unpack with you, Kush, some of the key aspects of hiring, which I have been hearing a lot wherever I go, in the conferences or whenever I talk to some of the recruiters, and I have been in the recruiting space myself, the shift from credentials to capability, the skills that the candidate is going to now bring to that role. So there has been a shift in that sense. And also, we'll talk a lot about candidate experience, recruiters' experience as well, given the AI focus now there, and how things are going to change in the coming 3 to 5 years, especially from a hiring perspective? And what would that mean on business metrics, optimization, efficiency, and all of that? So I'm really excited to get straight to the point, and starting with my first question for you, Kush, is from a hiring perspective, right? Now we know that AI is the backbone of hiring. From a human lens perspective, what do you think has changed from a candidate's experience and a recruiter's experience perspective? How have things changed? Has it been faster or has it been better?
I think very good question, by the way. So I think in my opinion, I feel like the things have gone more faster. So let's take the first side of the story, the candidates. So now candidates, with the help of AI, they can now quickly process the CV, they can write the cover letters, AI can even fill the forms for them. So the speed to send the CVs out on those roles have increased. And even if you take the next level down, the autonomous AI agents. Now these days they can take care of you, they can go and apply jobs for you.
Yeah.
Even for us, we have been working on building called Tinder for Jobs. So there's an app which basically go and search jobs for you.
Yeah.
Once you match, then
Yeah.
it will bring it to you. What this all is doing is basically increasing the volume.
Right.
So now a person, if he took, a certain number of hours to apply one application, now in the same time he can apply 10.
Yeah.
So on the candidate side, is definitely have increased the speed. It has made faster.
Yeah.
But have it made better? That's the question that let's answer that. On the other side, if you see at the recruiter side, right? So similarly, there's 91% of the agencies or companies have started using AI in some shape or form. You can say the maturity is different because they might be using in their current workflow. For example, all these big enterprise products, suddenly when the AI came up, they came up with the chat box as one of the first AI things.
That's right.
And they have started implementing AI into their tools, but they are not built from ground up, right? So they're just plugging in the current workflow. So if you look at the recruiter side, now rather than receiving 50 CVs in previous times, now they're receiving 500 of them.
Yeah.
And that is a big thing, right? Because they are now under
Neck
the pile.
deep in work, right? Like
Yeah.
it's like, and all the CVs look the same.
And that's the other challenge, right? Like, so because with the help of AI, if you go to ChatGPT and say, can you polish it? It gives you exactly the same sentence.
Yeah.
Just over a coffee, when we were discussing previously, you showed me a post that a recruiter said, like the sentence, by reading the first sentence on the CV, she already said, oh, this is an AI written CV.
Yeah.
Because AI write the same language over and over again.
Yeah.
So what has happened, as you rightly said, we have increased the volume. So we have started using AI to be more faster. But have we done better? Not yet. It's getting there. It will take certain maturity.
Kush, thank you so much. I think that really segues us into the second question that I have for you. That you mentioned that, of course, both recruiters and candidates, they are facing some sort of challenge even with the AI landscape. What's fundamentally broken? What do you think is, the real challenge on the ground? And also, why are organizations finding it so difficult to resolve it meaningfully?
I think that's a very good question. So Anjali, one of the first things that we realize with the help of AI, now all CVs looks very good.
Yeah.
Every CV is polished. So the first thing is who is the right candidate and who is not. Earlier, before AI, there would be some candidates whose CVs are exceptional. Whereas there are some candidates whose CVs are, they need improvement. So you can see, but now with the help of AI, everybody's CV is top notch.
Yeah.
How to then filter the right candidate from the noise. So now, the benchmark has increased. So that's one thing I would say. Second, personalization is completely missing, right? Because now when you go to AI, a lot of time AI does not know your story behind the scene. It basically picks up your CV and it has only that much context. And it might have a context about the role.
Yeah.
So the first thing there is happening, there is no personalization. Either the AI is trying to put your CV as a role, very aligned to the roles,
That's
using
right.
those keywords and things like that. So that's the second one. So personalization about that, what is that uniqueness about that story about that person is missing from there. And then the third thing is, it feels like there's an AI war going on. If you see AI is writing CVs, on the other side, AI is reading CVs. So technically, AI is talking to AI, whereas a human, we have taken a back seat on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how we navigate through this process. So if you look at it, that's where I feel like this whole system needs some kind of a change that needs to happen. If I add more, there was a recent study done by Gartner in 2026. What it found that CV fraud has increased by 76%. And one of the reasons why, because especially given these AI tools, one of the things that we are lacking is authenticity. Now they're trying to match so that the CV looks exactly same as job description, but if you actually go for the interview, you find the candidate has not even worked on it. So that's where
Yeah.
I think one of the things that we need to bring is the authenticity, as well as ensuring like AI is helping to write the best story of that individual possible, but not changing the individual's profile itself. So that's the fourth thing I would say. And the fifth one I think comes in my mind is about the, if you look at all these big systems that have been designed, which have been used by big HR companies or the in the whole market for the ATS tools, they're designed for big recruitment firms. They're designed for very, very
Yeah.
high volumes. There are 3,500 boutique recruitment firms in Australia, but these products are not designed for them.
Yeah.
So I think that is the another thing that, like they try to use either the big products, but the challenge is with big products, the big price tag comes in, the
Yeah.
volumes are not that high.
That's
So
right.
how we can help these agencies which operate and still do a very good hiring for whole Australian ecosystem,
That's right.
but they have been left out.
That's
So
right.
if I summarize, those are the few elements that comes in my mind, both on the candidate side as well as the recruiter side, that I find the system is still needs fixing.
No, that's wonderful. And what do you think, Kush? Where are we going in terms of hiring in the AI landscape in the next 3 to 5 years? Where would it go?
Anjali, very interesting, right? Like, because definitely I need to have the magical ball for next 3 to 5 years. But if I have to make the best guess based on what currently we're seeing in the market with our current customers, right? So I think number one thing will be skill-based assessment. Right now, there's a huge focus on talent, where it's coming from, what credentials you have, which university you went to. But as the AI is bringing equality or the level playing field, now anybody can learn anything in just a matter of time. So I think one of the first thing would be skills. Rather than asking, have you done that in past, in future we'll be asking, can you do this? As long as you see the signs they can adapt and learn new skills quickly, you'll be able to give them a job.
Absolutely.
So that's one thing.
That's right.
Second, I see the human potential would be much more valuable. In the coming few years, every single human will be hired, can do 10 times more work what they can do as of now with the help of AI, because there would be whole AI agentic processes, AI agents. So rather than you hiring one human, you would be hiring one human with the team of 10 AI coming with them. So what does it mean? It means that the hiring will get more selective, and every single hire has to be, go through more rigor, because human is more, a scared resource, who is the right human. Third one, if I have to pick, I believe, as I said in the second point, like the whole automations will take place. That's my thinking is, because as of now, when we talk to our customers, right? So what we have built is a human-led process, right? So our AI system basically goes and source candidates, then call hundreds of people at the same time, to screen those candidates, then validate them, ask for your interview. But that all steps are taken with the help of human, right? So we do everything, but let human click the next step.
So you're already at the forefront of human potential and technology in that sense.
That is so true. But as of now, what we also read, 71% of the humans don't like AI making hiring decisions on them.
Oh wow, okay.
But that will change very shortly, right? Because with the more and more AI speaking to people, being involved in the hiring decisions, I think stats will change. But we also found another stat, there are 14% of hiring which are assisted by AI are lead into a better results. But that you will see will go up very significantly higher. So I think if I look at the third point is more about, as a humans, we will start more adapting to the AI, being part of our world. So it's not that either we are with AI, without AI, is how we can better perform using these sets of AI that we have.
Sure.
They want more and more autonomous things going up the chain, but currently with the human control. They want AI to assist them, not to take over completely and do the work for them. But as we mature enough, there would be that we will give things to AI, and AI will run for you, but respond back to you, and then you make final decision and make a final call.
Right. I think that's a great point. And I think, Kush, we've had a lot of discussion on the business challenges as well as, challenges from a recruiter or a candidate perspective. How do you think you're solving this problem through your AI platform? JobGen.AI? What's the mission? What's the sort of vision there in terms of solving some of these business challenges?
So I think very good question. I think one of the first thing that we started thinking about when we thought about JobGen is what is our ethos. So as I said initially, right? So we don't want to replace human. We want to empower them. So that's our fundamental. So when we say human, the first thing we do is who is our customer. So we put enormous focus on our customer. Like Jeff Bezos, right, the Amazon ex-CEO, he said, right, like it's customer is the thing that they completely focus on.
Yeah.
It's like customer, customer. Same is for us. We are driven by the customer. So if it is a candidate, what best we can do for this candidate to get the best role in their field, to make sure that we are doing the justice of the system. We're not trying to fraud anything or change their CVs without their knowledge, but present their best story in a format that can person go for an interview.
Yeah.
So that's what we are looking for. And we have got some really good successes in that. We built the whole Chrome extension, which basically analyze every single role that person apply. It matches for them. If the match is less than 70%, you should not be applying to that. We basically look at your CV in the system against this. We also let people to tailor the CV so that because we have already run a whole profile against them. So what we do, we basically make their life easy so that they don't have to go to hundreds of forms. They can just click a button and it can autofill for them or apply. On top of that, we look at the whole LinkedIn profile and see as a whole profile what improvement we can bring by looking at the CV and the profile and see what are the things that they have missed. And we should bring it, in a more AI aligned world. And on top of that, what we also started thinking about how because not everybody can hire a career coach. It costs $200 an hour, so what we build a whole AI coach itself in our platform. So that it can not only drive you that, okay, how many jobs you're applying in the week, but what quality job, are you learning? Are you doing networking? So it basically put a whole plan for you for 12 months so that you have a companion over there working with you.
That's fantastic. That will be extremely helpful for the candidate, right? As well as, is there something for the recruiters as well?
Definitely. So that was where we started. Then we got approached by a number of recruiters in Australia as well as in US. And that's where we have started the whole recruiter journey. So recruiters came out with a very simple problem that they are always constrained by time, right? When the role comes out, especially in the contracting market, the challenge they find, the top candidates are taken away within the first few hours.
Absolutely.
It's like a golden hour. If you don't touch a candidate, the top candidate for that particular role within the first hour, your competitor is already speaking to them. So what we started building is how AI can assist them. So first is sourcing, right? When a role comes in our platform, a recruiter can just add a job. Automatically, we basically go and search against their existing database. If not, then we integrate into other platforms to get the millions of candidates data so that they can see who are the top 20 candidates for that particular fit in that particular market, in that particular location. Once we have identified the candidate, automatically AI moves to the next step with their guidance. And it goes and basically write the screening questions. It goes into 3 steps, like what are the standard location, availability, rates.
That's right. Yeah.
Then it goes a job specific question. Do you have those skill sets? So it will write the specific question. And then any specific question that the hiring manager would have asked, are you open for relocation or things like that. Once that's done, again, human is involved in this so that they do a final check that this looks right. Run a campaign, automatically SMS goes out to the candidates. The call goes out to hundreds of candidates, to dozens of candidates, how many you selected at the same second. So within the first 10 minutes, you have already reached to the market at the speed of light.
That's right. That's right.
And the AI will now speak to them. AI will analyze it. AI will check the fit.
Yeah.
If they're not available, there's no point wasting time. Because previously, as a recruiter, you can only call one at a time. As a human, we have limitation. But with AI, the limitation is removed. Now you can reach out to hundreds of candidates at the same time in a very natural spoken English, not synthetic, very an intelligent AI.
Yeah.
So what we're also working is like building an intelligent layer of AI rather than just a data collector.
Sure.
So an AI can talk to you if you say that, I'm open to work right now, I'm ready to join tomorrow. But if its CV says that you are still not, you're still in a job, how you can do that? AI should ask that question. As a human, will do that. So that's what the intelligence we're putting there so that it helps that human to reach out to that particular wide audiences. On top of that, we're also working on looking into if we can bring some natural voices, right? So Anjali, if you are a recruiter, can we clone your voice so that you are there at 100 places at the same time, talking to your people.
That's fantastic, Kush.
And
That's
once you
fantastic.
get that, then we move into the next step is just validating for you so that, like what the story people told on CV as well as on conversation, is it matched with your LinkedIn or not? Because that's the other thing that we need to look into. And then hand over to human and say, you make the final decision who you'd like to talk to and who you like to submit.
And how is it different from some of the other AI platforms? Like what differentiates you from some of the competitors?
I think we definitely looked at the whole landscape. So number one thing, how we differentiate is we are an AI build startup, right? So we have built from ground up. We didn't took a product which was already existing in the market and start plugging into AI into that. So that's the first thing. Second, we are obsessed with customer. So before we even started on this journey, we went and did a thorough research in our market, spoke to hundreds of recruiters, hundreds of candidates, and tried to understand what exactly is not working for them with the current products existing in the market. So the way we are designing is a custom built solution. It feels like, it's a custom built solution, but it's basically tailored for those particular agencies who are high volume contracting market as of now.
Yeah.
So we're very, very customer obsessed. And third one, we are very compliant. We ensure that, we're following the right things. We are not doing anything just to get the candidates submitted or, agency to reach out to the candidate. For example, if I give you, now there are new AI legislations coming in place, right? It's rather data privacy, compliances. We ensure that we're taking care of all of that. And we welcome that because, without these compliances or government acts, things could go wild.
Compliance is a very important sort of conversation that's going on within the AI landscape, and especially data privacy, right? Because especially in regards to hiring, there's a lot of information, candidate information. So with that, how you protecting all of that and what's the guardrails around those?
No, I think you're very right. And that's exactly our third area, that key area that we'll look into, right? Because one of the example I will give you, there was another well-funded company, another startup, which went down the route of collecting all the candidate information, which they can find on internet while doing a validation check. But that's sometimes, it's a bit, I think for a candidate's point of view, if I'm a candidate, is a bit, going outside the boundary.
Yeah.
Right. I have an application, I have a LinkedIn. That's where you should look at, not go on my TikTok account or, Facebook or Instagram and check, because that's a little bit outside, and that's where I think the problem is, right? Like, what's that boundary? So with these acts and regulation, which coming into place, I feel like it's very welcome. Industry needs that because AI was not as rigor as it was before, but with every passing year, everything will be transformed. So better we have those acts. So that's the third thing that, what we're doing in our case. And again, another fourth one is speed to market, right? Like big companies, they are like, they're big tankers, right, on the sea. So if you have to tame it, it takes time. But a small startup like us, we can adapt quickly, we can learn quickly, we can deliver fast, right? So that's what our ethos is: learn from the customer, give it a tailored solution at the speed of light, and then scale and expand. So that's what we're doing with our small team.
That's wonderful, absolutely. And how well does it integrates with some of the other systems, the platform? How is it like integrating with some of the other HRIS systems? Have you had any sort of experience already with some of maybe the organizations or some of the boutique recruiter firms?
We definitely, I think that's number one thing, right? Like, because we don't want to change the whole existing platforms or system that agencies are using. For example, if agencies are using Salesforce, we'll integrate with that. If agencies are using JobDiva, these are the big other platforms that they are using. So what we're doing, if you think from the hiring perspective, there's first mile. First mile is sourcing the candidate, screening the candidate, validating the candidate, and submitting it.
Sure.
And then the second mile is once that candidate goes into the interview process, get selected or not selected, and if they're selected, onboarded them. So think about all these big ATSs or big systems that they exist in the second mile.
That's right.
There's a huge competition over there. So we're not transforming. Agencies have already invested in these software.
Yeah.
So what we do, we integrate in their existing platforms.
Yeah.
So the way we do is we basically tailored and focused on our first mile, where we basically, at the speed of light, we want to get the candidate shortlisted within 30 minutes.
That's fantastic.
So, and we integrate with their existing Salesforce, JobDiva, if CPAL, any of those systems that they currently use, we basically integrate with all of them.
And the
So
platform is already live in Australia,
US
India,
and
and
India.
US. Yeah.
So currently our platform is already live in Australia, US, and India. So and we're getting very good feedback from our customers. So customers are already saying what they find is 3x they can get the return. For example, when the role comes out, the normal average time to find a candidate was between 3 to 6 hours, because you have to go to the role, you have to screen them manually, or you will go and open the CVs in the existing ATS. It takes, if you even open 20, 30, or 50 CVs, then again you're feeling with the gut feeling, is this the right candidates or not? Once you start speaking them, then you have to adapt based on your questions.
That's fine. Yeah. Right.
This all is done by AI now within the first 30 minutes and give you 3 shortlist candidates. So think about, you come, you upload a job, you go for a coffee, come back, you should expect that you have
So it's
short
all
AI.
optimized process, right?
That's correct.
Talk to us a little bit more on the business metrics. How would it really impact the bottom line in terms of also optimization of processes and efficiency percentages? Do you have any stats to sort of share with us?
Oh, absolutely. I think, Anjali, this is the best question, because in analytics is always the numbers, right? So let's start with, I think, let me give you a context and then I will go straight into what JobGen.AI has helped improve from mid-tier agencies to, small to top tier agencies. So let's take an example, right? A role comes out. For example, a role is from Citibank. Role comes out, the role will go out to 20 to 50 agencies at the same time. There's a mad race happening, who will fill the candidate first. They will have roughly 1 to 3 hours to find the top candidates, because if you don't find the top candidates within that, 100% of the chances are your competitor has already secured them. Even the role might be open for long, 48 hours to 72 hours, especially in Australian federal government. Overseas, much less. In US, the role get closed in 3 hours. Can you believe it? So it's like a crazy speed to market.
Yeah.
But if you don't touch within the first hour, which is called golden hour, you miss the candidate because competitor has already taken on. The agency which submit the top 3 candidates and get the placement receive up to $10,000 to $20,000. Let's say average $15,000. But agencies, all that rest, 30 agencies or 50 agencies will get zero. And think about, if I talk about a medium firm, one of the firms that we're working, we implemented our product, they do 120,000 jobs in a year, attempted jobs, right? Their success rate is roughly 5% of the jobs that they get secured is roughly 6,000 jobs they get placed in a year. And they're making about $100 million in just placements, right? So think about, for this particular agency, just by using our product, what we did, we basically, currently their rate is 5%. With the help of AI, we increase the rate by 6%. Just conservatively, by increasing 1% increment, their overall yearly profit went by $24 million.
Fantastic.
So think about extra, just 1% rate, like another 600 roles in a year can give you 24 million in revenue. That's the bottom line. Then the second metrics, which is very important for us, is the amount of efficiency. Currently, these recruiters or the teams of recruiters, they're spending 60 to 70% of the time in just calling and doing admin work. So think about, if you can use or take help of AI, can do that for you, then those recruiters can focus on adding more jobs to you. So if they were able to attempt 1 job in a day, now they can do 2. If they were doing 2 jobs in a week, they can do now 4. So it basically free up your unnecessary admin that is required. And third, as a human, it's all depend on the quality and experience. If a recruiter is 6 months old, they will be going through, have more experience how to ask. But whereas recruiters who are just joined or 3 months, and in this industry, the rotation rate is quite high. So every time you're training people, every time they're coming with different set of experience. But with the AI, what we also found, how we can bring that quality across. Because AI can do the Boolean searches, find the right candidate to start with. Second, write good questions, analyze it, read 300 CVs if you upload that in 30 seconds with no biases, with quality. So that's the third matrix we're doing, where we found that it has incremented their whole bottom line, their efficiency, as well as the quality of candidate that they're putting forward.
This is amazing.
By 10 times.
This is really amazing, and it's going to really impact the businesses in a very positive way for sure. And let's move on to our favorite section, Kush, which is a rapid fire, where I'll be giving you 2 myths to bust, and you'll be giving us 2 hacks for the one for the recruiter and one for the candidate. So let's go with myth number 1, which is Will AI replace recruiters?
I think that's the biggest myth because it's going around the market, right? Everybody is scared of AI. They feel like either it will replace recruiters, jobs, and everything. So one of the thing is AI is not going to replace jobs, but people using AI will definitely replace those jobs. So AI is definitely required skill sets. For example, what the future of recruitment look like? It's there to empower the recruiters so that they can work more effectively and more faster to find the better placements more quickly. It's not about replacing it. It's very similar in my opinion. Think about when the Excel come out or the computer came out. It didn't came out, of course there was a transformation, right? But now everybody use Excel. Earlier people use pen and paper to do calculations.
Yeah.
So that's very similar, right? AI is there as a tool to help you, assist you to do 10 times of what you're doing at a much faster pace. So that will happen in the recruiter space. AI is not going to change the recruiters, but AI is going to make it more efficient and 10 times faster for them.
Myth number 2, with more AI equals better hiring.
So I think this is also a myth because more AI does not mean better hiring. Because if you look at the CVs written by ChatGPT, they all look same. Now recruiters are complaining that they can see a CV and they can tell straight away it's a ChatGPT written CV. So what we need is not more AI, we need a better personalized AI for you. So I think one of the first things we did was humanizing of your CV. So that when the CV is written by JobGen, we ensure that it's not written by a standard AI, so that it looks a very similar sentence to the other candidate who's applying. But the second part is what we found, 83% of the companies have started using AI for hiring in some shape or form, but their maturity level is very different. So still there's a lot to do. It has started shrinking the time frame faster, but to make it a better quality hire, we need intelligence layer.
Yeah.
We need where people, when they start looking at predicting that this candidate will be a good fit for us or not, culturally as well will stay with us or not. So that intelligence layer is still yet to come.
No, wonderful. That's amazing. And now 2 hacks, Kush, one for the recruiter and one for the candidate.
So I think one of the hacks for the candidates, which I always say, I would say quality over quantity. Because number of candidates, they do this mistake. They think that it's like sales. Of course, we say that finding job is like sales. So you go and it's like a funnel. You go and apply hundreds of jobs. But if you're applying job which you are not aligned to, the chances are near zero. So there's no point wasting your energy. Better apply for 5 jobs with a very high quality application, and that will convert. And not only that, when you're doing about applying jobs, the next thing you do after applying, reach out to those recruiters, reach out to the hiring manager, write the LinkedIn, put that effort into those applications that are really aligned to you. Because you would not believe, at the end of the day, the hiring manager is still human.
Yeah.
Right? The decisions might be assisted by an AI, but if you reach out to a hiring manager, they would have definitely will look at your CV. So that is what get people hired rather than applying at volume. And for the recruiter side, I would say one of the top things that we hear from candidate is that they have been left in dark. They put so much effort in applying the applications, and after they submit the application, everything gets cold. They never hear neither rejections. I think about these these clients or customers or candidates could be your future, like people who will give you another roles.
Yeah.
They could give you references. They can give you recommendation on LinkedIn. So build those connections. Don't just, because at the end of the day, still the human connection is most important.
Absolutely.
So even if people are applying, I would say to recruiters, one of the hack is keep them warm, right? Even tell them, inform them that we can't do it, or use a system to inform, sorry, we could not, select you, but at least inform the candidate so that they can stop looking for that particular or have a hope for that job.
And Kush, would you like to give away something for our recruiters as well as for the candidates?
Now, I think for the candidates, definitely use Anjali 50 as a code. Currently the subscription fee is $15 a month. It will be given half price for you. If you use it, you can use it to apply jobs or to fill. And for the recruiters listening, reach out to me, DM me, or LinkedIn me. I will be more than happy to glad and help you with this, to run a demo for you as well as give you the product.
Thank you, Kush. It was really a nice, rich conversation. I really enjoyed it because hiring is very close to my heart. And you've shared a lot of information regarding the stats, industry. So it's really, really helpful. And for you all, if you think this episode has made you think differently, feel free to listen to the entire episode and feel free to share it with someone you think will be important. And until then, keep sipping and keep sharing.